kick this off because we have so many great things to talk about.
Absolutely. So I think the time limit got over, but no worries. We'll still continue and finish our thing that we're supposed to talk and share and, give a message to the audience. So we were on the Golden Rule Gurus. We were on the Golden Rule Gurus that you were just talking about.
Yes, so I was sharing that the name guru in some people's eyes can sound egotistical or whatever, but we felt like it was a good brand. Again, everything is about attracting attention and tooting your own horn and getting the message out, and so we really wanted people to know that if you live your life by the golden rule and you truly believe that you're on this earth not to take care of yourself, but to give to other people, to do unto others, and to lay down your life, as people do. If you really live your life that way, people can see it. You don't have to say it; people can see it. For me, difference is people always ask me if I was on drugs, and since I was in a grammar school, they would say, "Are you doing drugs?" Because I was always upbeat and positive and high. And I would say, "No, I've never done drugs. I've still, to this day, I've never, ever done one drug, one cigarette, one marijuana, nothing."
No, because, even I had this question. I wanted to know how do you have so much of energy levels and you sleep only 3 hours. Right now you're on show with me and I know you just slept for 3 hours. You're multitasking, you're taking care of your dad, meeting him, also your work, you're on Zoom calls, on webinars. So how do you get that energy? What's the secret? And God bless you for that.
Yeah. Well, it's so amazing because Sharia, I don't have my glasses on, Sharia just said it. It's called High on Life. It is high on life. And that is exactly what I would tell people. They would say, "Where are you getting your drugs?" And I would say, "I'm high on life." And they would be like, whatever. So to answer your question.
Shreya has given the answer, I think. She's saying driven by your passion.
That's right. That's exactly right. And the passions, I'm writing another book right now, and it's in honor of my father who's dying of Alzheimer's disease, and he almost died this weekend. We almost lost him. And I've been writing the book for about 2 years about our journey through Alzheimer's and the 17 lessons I learned from my father. But due to the COVID, I've had some time right now to be with my father. And as soon as this call's over, I'm taking off my business suit. I'm putting on my sweatpants. I'm going to go sit outside of a window of a hospital rehab. I have not been able to see my father for 3 months. He broke his hip. He's in the hospital. I'm going to take music and play music because Alzheimer's people need music. It makes them feel better. My dad played music his whole life. He played the harmonica, the guitar. In his Alzheimer's, even though he can't remember what he ate for breakfast or if he went to the bathroom, he can remember how to play all these songs. And so I'm going to play music for him to lift him up. And I'm writing the book. We're co-writing the book. So on my father's, deathbed, if you will, hopefully he'll live many more years. He's going to have his legacy about what he taught me. So I can't say, but Golden Rule Gurus is my attempt. California Safari is my attempt. The books I write, the movies I produce are my attempt at trying to deconstruct where my joy and passion comes from and give people the steps to find their own passion. My first book that I wrote, I don't know if you can see it, it's called Adventures, let me see, it's right here. Adventures in Manifesting Passion and Purpose. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, it's on, if you go to Golden Rule Gurus, GOLDENRULEGURUS, goldenrulegurus.com, you can order the book. And that's Adventures in Manifesting Passion and Purpose. That was 8 years ago I wrote that book, so I'm updating the books. I'm updating my I've learned in 8 years since my daughter's accident, I've taken a different journey, like I said, with the near-death experience. And I am doing my best to try to inspire and educate and not intimidate, because we haven't even talked about this, but when you're confident and powerful and successful and nothing can stop you, there are some people that get jealous. And there are some people that say negative things about you. My own family, I have to deal with it. I have people that make jokes about me because I wear high heels, you know. My high heels are lonely. My high heels are sitting in my closet, and they wish they could get out. I'm in my suit, and look, I have my pajamas on the bottom, right? Because everybody's doing Zoom calls in their underwear. You know, it's not a joke. It's life. I mean, this is. I slept for 3 hours. I rolled out of bed and I put my suit on and I slept in my pajamas. Whatever. It's I'm showing you the behind the scenes because everybody thinks you're so perfect and they judge you. And I am a person, whether I'm out on the soccer field or playing football, coaching my kids in sports, as I am on the red carpet and everything in between. And if we can be our real, true, authentic selves, if you can really be authentic and true to who you are, then you are absolutely going to be successful at whatever you do. I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
Very true. And other thing, like, we just talked about being on drugs. Like, how about you've been so close in the industry, in the entertainment industry and glamour industry. How about the casting couch over there? Is it prevalent, the casting couch in the industry?
I think the answer to that question is no now, because the Me Too movement started in October a year and a half ago. Harvey Weinstein is in jail behind bars. He was the casting couch. Yes, I know women who have been raped, sexually harassed. I've had my own issues with that as well, but I have never ever gotten a job by doing something like that. But people have tried and people have failed in my life. It's a serious situation. It's over. I really do think that I can honestly say from the bottom of my heart that is not happening anymore in Hollywood, because you can see that the women are speaking out now, and the women are being heard for the first time.
I think in a way it's really good. The Me Too movement happened for good, because now it's like under control and nothing like that is happening in the industry, according to you, in Hollywood.
It will never happen again. Women don't have to. And that's why, unfortunately, in Hollywood, only 7% of the films that are out are produced by women. And in Silicon Valley, only 6% of startup companies are investors. The startup angel investors, they only invest 6% in women-owned companies. Ladies, we have a lot of work to do. So my message for women is to really, really start to hone your message and to understand how much power we have as women, and don't let people put you down. I mean, it's a basic thing, but it's unfortunate if you get put down once, or if you're verbally abused once, or if you're in an abusive marriage, which I was verbally abused for many decades. It gets to you and it hurts your psyche. So if you can step outside of that and raise your hand up and ask for help, really, really, really ask for help. There are so many organizations that want to help you. I donate my time to so many nonprofits because I believe in their messages and their visions, and if I can help them craft their marketing plan and craft their message to attract more people for their mission, then I know I can go to bed at night for my 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and I know I've done something to make a difference. Because when you teach somebody to fish, you teach them for a lifetime. You don't just throw the fish at them. So that's why I have all these companies that I've started to teach different levels of society, from the children to, you know, the CEOs and the high school students, because each of us is attracted to a different platform. You know,
and I think I'm sure you're very convinced about the decision you took of separating from the domestic violence and abusive relationship, and that's why you want to advise all the rest of the people that in case if there is anything like that, they should get out of it and take a call.
Absolutely. That's one of the powerful messages that you asked about earlier that I didn't talk about. But because of what I went through, and because my children at the time were young, you know, my oldest was 12 and my son was 10, and none of you listening probably don't know this, but unfortunately I was pregnant with my third child, and I went through some very...
a lot of courage, and you have to be really very bold to take that kind of a step when you have little kids, and you know, it's not easy. It's very, very tough.
I was newly pregnant, and I left an abusive marriage to save my children. It was because of my daughter Brennan. I call her Angel because, you know, getting pregnant with her at 40 years old was a surprise, and my husband and I were surprised, but I chose to make sure to take care of that baby, and I went on bed rest. I bought my... And I always had a computer since the 80s. Since 1984, I had my first computer, which back then I paid like $8,000 for it. Now, you know, my phone, look at me, I'm talking on my phone right now, and my phone has more terabytes, on 1,000 terabytes than a computer. But anyway, I laid in bed on bed rest to have that baby. I almost lost her. It was a very, very high-risk pregnancy, and to be going through the stress of a divorce while I was pregnant, I'm so grateful for my older daughter, Brittany. She was 12 at the time, and I know it's put a lot of stress on her little heart.
Shalini has written something. Can you read on your phone? Shalini has written something. The message has to be circulated.
It says, I know pains of your life and they're to put right on your progress. That message needs to be circulated. What is the question? Is there a question? I mean, yeah. I mean, the message needs to be circulated. Thank you, Shadini. I share this message all over the world. This is my story, and the movie Holding Her Heart will address these issues, because that's my passion. You know, the media can get the message out there much faster. I lose my voice speaking. I was in Kenya with my Ufungo Community Development Project. Hi, Jack. I know he's watching. I'm the international global ambassador to the Ufungo Community Development Project in Africa. I've traveled there to the Lion Hill Primary School, the Kakamega School for the Deaf, to the young women that are out milking the cows and turning the milk into yogurt, and they don't have any little plastic cups to put their yogurt in to sell. They don't have any cartons to put the eggs in. So we're raising money for these groups. If anybody wants to donate to Saving People Inc. now, my new nonprofit, stemming from Wings of Love International, we have so many women that are hungry, that are starving, that they just need people to believe in them. I was in Pune, India, at the Helpo Foundation. I went there. I was working on a film in Bollywood, and my friend Nihal Mayer, I love you, Nihal. Nihal invited me. He picked me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he drove me. He told me that it was a 4-hour drive, and I thought that was 2 hours each way. He picked me up at 4 in the morning. It took 4 hours to get from in the traffic to Pune. We spoke at the Helpo Foundation. 70,000 women who are widows or only have children, no spouses, and they've taken $70 million of microloans from the government of India, and every one of those women paid back their loan. They paid back their loan. So I had the honor to go, and so Nihal drove me 4 hours there. I was so tired that while I was speaking on the panel, I fell asleep like this. And I could not stay awake. And so I went in on the bed because it was all in Hindi or whatever language was there. I spoke in English, they translated, I gave my speech. I went in on the bed while the panel was going on. All the ladies were on the floor listening in their saris. They are beautiful, dressed up. Oh, I have something I'm going to show you. Sure. I don't even know what it's called, but maybe you can help me. Okay. What is this fruit? It's this is sitafal. It's called sitafal, custard apple. I think it's custard apple. So I snuck this home on the airplane because this is what the ladies were picking and they make ice cream out of it. And so they sell. It's a different color, but it's dried up. I keep this on my office desk because this reminds me of the day that I changed 70,000 women's lives by sharing a message of hope. And I couldn't keep my eyes open. And then it took 6 hours to drive back to Mumbai because of the traffic jam. I was exhausted, but I will never forget that day. And I have so many friends now. The Saving People Inc. will also be donating funds to the HELPO Foundation, HELPO. So anyway, I fall in love with every nonprofit where I speak. And if somebody could write down the name of this fruit in the comments, because it's custard apple. Sitafal in Hindi, and in English we call it custard apple. So I will text it to you on your WhatsApp. We don't have this kind there in America. We don't have this fruit. But what I loved was we were talking to these women. They were being ripped off, meaning that if they pick them off the tree and they put them in the box, they could sell them for like $2 or $3. They were only getting paid like $2 or $3 for a whole box. And Nihal Mayur, I was with the United Nations, the team from the United Nations broke
Sitafal, so you can see it later in the.
Oh, thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Oh, I now I can tell my story better. But at the time we were the question that the ladies was, what can they do to sell and make more profit on their picking of these apples? And so we were brainstorming using my business brain in Silicon Valley. How could we find and market them directly to the ice cream stores directly, and they could get $7 a box instead of the middleman, because there were people that were taking the middle, all the profit. So this is what I do, is I try to, if I see a problem, I listen, and because I'm coming from the outside, then I can make sure to give an idea that might change somebody's life.
Lovely, beautiful. I mean, you've done such amazing work, and it's I'm sure making difference to so many lives and so many people. I'll come back to your being in the entertainment industry. There is a question from the budding artists and actors in India that how do they make a place in Hollywood, or how do they get into Hollywood? Actors and actresses from India.
Okay, well, first of all, it's, as you know, you can get married to Nick Jonas, and you can be Priyanka Chopra. No, but seriously, if you have talent, which we always know that you would, or you wouldn't have the passion, because God gives you the talent, and God asks us to, hone our passion and take it forward. I would suggest that you start doing Facebook Lives like what we're doing now, and put your acting skills on YouTube. Taylor Swift is one of the most powerful music entertainers in America, in the world, and she started when she was 17 years old putting videos on YouTube, and somebody noticed her. The world is a different place. So create your content, create your message, and put it on social media. That's my first advice. And then once you have it there, what is this? We love Nick Jonas. He is our brother. Yes, he is. We love Priyanka. We love Priyanka. The wedding of the century. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that wedding. I love all the Indian weddings. If I ever was going to get married again, I would want to go get married in India because you have such beautiful scenery and extravagant weddings, and it would be like a Hollywood movie set. We don't do it like that here. I actually have a book, The Chicken Curry Project.
The weddings in India are so beautiful that you want to get married again.
Yes, I believe that. Every time I'm in India, whatever hotel I'm in, there's always a wedding, and I always go down there and I join the wedding, and I love it. I love the music, I love the dancing, I love the people, and I love how dressed up they get, and I love their passion and how it goes on and on and on, and I think it's beautiful. I actually met one of the number one wedding producers in India when I was working in Mumbai a few years ago, and she told me all the secrets of how they set up the sets, and they do incredible, and then they take it all down. Like, I can't understand that. Like, I would just leave it there, but she tells me how they build these big sets and they have 2,000, 3,000 people, and then they take it all down. Like, we don't do it like that in America. It's a beautiful thing.
No, but I think it's very good advice to the budding artists and actors. I mean, what advice you've given is really wonderful if they apply it. I think it's a great advice.
Yeah, and I produce films in Bollywood, Hollywood, and Nollywood, and for those of you from Africa that are listening, I'm working with Omatola. She's known as Omo Sexy. She's one of the most famous actresses in Africa, and we are building a film school. Now, because of COVID-19, I can't be there, but I was scheduled to live in Nigeria for 3 months to build the film school. We brought together AFI, which is the American Film Institute in America, Loyola Marymount University, where I went to college, the film school, and we're putting together the top educators on how to produce films. So that's behind the camera. You asked about the people getting to be actors in front of the camera. But in Nigeria, we're teaching them the skills to be filmmakers on the backside. So, the sky's the limit. I have a team in India that's been begging me to do the same thing in India. Jimmy, if you're listening, and all the team there in Delhi, you met them. Do you remember the Rajesh with the red hair? Your luxury studio when I came to Delhi, and Jimmy in the blue shirt, and they were there, and that was a year ago now, and they're still calling me saying, can we talk to you about our projects? So if you're listening, I'm available now. You can send me a Zoom call. It's
wonderful. That'll be really honor for us if you come to India and you can be there for that.
There's a lot of people that want me to start a yoga. They want me to do a health facility for yoga, the mind, body, spirit, and they want to use the Denise O'Brien International brand. So if you're into yoga and health and fitness, we have our legal team and our marketing team that are working on that right now. Because my dad's been in the hospital and sick so much this past year, I didn't want to leave the country again. It was very hard for me to leave for Egypt because I had some family challenges going on, and it was difficult to get on the plane. I was worried about my kids and my dad. But I decided again, if I was going to live my last day, what would I do? I would get on that plane. I'm glad I did.
And I also want to know from you, Denise, that how do you encourage people to find their true mission and passion in life?
Well, that's pretty much my mantra, and we've been talking about that. And I think the way I encourage them is to do some deep soul searching, to educate themselves, to actually truly meditate, pray, whatever you want to call it, where you quiet yourself. And I have to say, in the last 3 months that we've been on quarantine here, now 78 days for me, I've had a lot of time to go inside and to pray and to think about that. Now, some people turn on the TV. I didn't even have a TV at the beginning of the COVID-19. I had to go borrow my dad's TV because I wanted to know what was going on in the world, because I don't watch TV. I don't take the time for the negative, you know. And people are surprised about that. How can you be a film producer? How can you be a TV producer and you don't watch TV? Because it's nothing but negative. It's just nothing but negative. So how do I teach and empower the passion is to slow down, take a deep breath, shut your eyes, and ask God, please show me what my passion is, or please give me a sign. Teach me what it is. And praying and meditating, in the Catholic Church, we pray the rosary every day. That's just a mantra. And I know I have a lot of things here in my office, like I have my peacock feathers. I have my, what are these kind of flowers called from the wedding that I went to at the Taj Mahal?
Marigold. There's the marigold dry flowers.
Yeah. I went to the Kumbh Mela in Prayag in February. I dunked myself in the Ganga River for 7 times, and I went through the whole thing, and we put the little marigolds on a boat on a paper, and we lit the candles, and they floated across. I was with 10 million people on February 19th. It was life-changing. Wow. But again, the journey of making sure that you talk to God in whatever form that is to listen, because you'll hear his voice. And in the darkest, deepest, stressful times of my life, going through divorce while I was pregnant and going through so many other challenges we've already talked about, I always filled myself enough to say, God, what is the lesson here? You know, I didn't say, oh, poor me, why did this happen to me? I'm going to just go do drugs and drink and kill myself. I said, God, show me the lesson. And every time I heard what my parents modeled, which is to go back out and give back. And in that healing journey, it would come. Because if I was giving back to other people, it helped me to go through my hard times. If that's my wings of love, we talked about the wings, but our mission was to bridge a pathway from abuse to emotional health, wholeness, and abundance. And so we did that in many forms over the last 10 years, and now we're taking it to the level of saving people. So there are so many people hurting in so many ways, and I've had so many platforms now with the mental health awareness, with the Alzheimer's, the brain injury. I've learned everything that I could possibly learn. I'm not a scientist, but I was a writer, and I was everything about communication. I hated chemistry class. I studied all night to get an A in chemistry in my science bio. I hate those classes, but thank goodness my children inherited from their dad a love of math, because I hated math too. But I always got good grades, because if I couldn't figure it out, I just got a tutor and a mentor, and I asked for help. So, you know, that was back in the days when I wasn't very good at something. Then I would get a coach, and I played the piano. I was a concert pianist. I took piano lessons every week. You know, for those of you that have been through abuse, my own father abused me. He would spank me all the time. And if I didn't practice the piano, he would get a piece of wood out and hit me and hit me and hit me. And I would cry. My butt would hurt, and I'd be sitting on the piano bench, and I would play, and I was forced to do that for many years. It was a healing journey. That thank you, RT, for loving the interview. I'm grateful.
But Denise, you've really gone through a lot. I mean, you've really gone through a lot, and you've come out to be such a strong woman. It's very inspirational and motivational for everybody who's here in the audience, as well as for my own self. I mean, one has to be so strong, and you are actually inspiring, truly inspiring.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate those words of affirmation, Madhavi, because there were many years where I wasn't sharing what the challenges were that I went through, because it's like taboo to talk about suicide and depression and abuse and violence. But if we don't talk about it, more people are going to die. And I don't want more people to die.
It's very good. It's very good to share. Even in India, we have this taboo of not opening out and keeping it to ourselves. But I think it's very important to share because, I mean, you learn so much and you feel you're not the only one who's suffering. Right. It's like, and when other person can be so strong, even you can be strong as well,
Exactly. That's exactly why. And thank you, Shalini. That's why we're the best. Once we learn the lesson, we get stronger, right? It's just like a snake that slithers through life and it keeps shedding its skin, right? And it sheds its skin and it becomes a better version of itself. A turtle, it grows and it takes off its shell and it makes a new one. A crab, drops its shell and it becomes raw and it becomes just the body, and then it just grows a new one. So I've just grown a lot of. They call it tough skin or tough love or whatever. I just keep on growing, and recently one of my friends said,
Very well expressed.
Oh, thank you. Somebody recently told me I have a long life, which made me happy, because there's so many. I have so much more work to do. I'm never going to retire. You know what they say? Don't retire, refire. And so I tell everybody, do not retire. If anybody always says, oh, you've made all this money, you've had all this success, you have all of these, why are you working so hard? I can't tell you how many people I know, including my own husband and the father of my 3 children at the time, when he retired, he wanted to lay in bed and die, literally. And there's a lot more to that story. But the point is that if you stop doing what you're passionate about and you think you're going to go sit around and play golf and artwork, it's not what God made us to do. You can enjoy your life on the journey. So I always say enjoy the journey. And I want to also share something that's in my book that I'm writing with my dad. This is a huge lesson. Coming from my background where I was raised in a Catholic home, everything my parents taught me was do this so you can go to heaven. Do this so that, you can see God and Jesus one day. Do it because of this. It was always about sacrificing everything now for the future and sacrificing for the, the destination. And when I went away from home when I was 17 and I went away to college in Los Angeles and I pursued my passion, I decided that I was going to live my life for the journey. And it wasn't a decision. I observed in society that there were other people in life that were having fun now. And it was always about the hard work. And Ryland, my colleague Brian Taganushi, if you're listening, this is something that he and I have talked about. He's a global expert in many realms, but you don't have to work hard. That was a fallacy that my parents taught me that I don't agree with. You can work smart, and with your spiritual journey with God, you don't have to work so hard. So I realized that it's okay to enjoy my life, to have joy, to enjoy what's going on while you're getting to your destination of heaven or wherever you want to go. So that is the premise of my book, which I don't want to give away all the secrets to the book because I want you to get the book when it comes out. You will be so inspired. I can't tell you how inspired I am. What?
No, I'm surely looking forward to read the book. I'm already excited. I would love to read it once it's out. And Denise, you've been a former reporter at The Guardian and associate producer at the KNBC television, copywriter, newspaper editor. So what has been your most gratifying and satisfying job so far out of all this that you've done so much?
Of the ones that you mentioned or all my jobs?
No, out of all the jobs.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned The Guardian. When I lived in London, I studied at Richmond College in London, and the Guardian was the newspaper there. So I was on the beat as a reporter, and I remember going out, to cover the stories. And then again, I would come home so eager, and I would write my story and I would post it. And I learned a lot about working the deadline. That was a time in my life where computers were just coming out. This was in 1984. And I touched my first computer in London. And I was so amazed. There was a little software program called Zywrite, which is ZYWRITE. It was a silly program. This was before Word and Microsoft and all of that. And I was like, this is going to change the world. And little did I know when I got back from London, back to America, that Silicon Valley, the little hometown where we had apple trees and fruit trees, and it was the valley of vegetables and fruit, and it turned into what it is today. My favorite job, I would say, if I was really thinking about it, would have to be when I started my own business with the Mary Kay Cosmetics, because it was the first time in my life where I had a mentor that loved me unconditionally, and that's my friend Lisa that died of cancer, because we would ride around in her pink Cadillac. She had a beautiful pink Cadillac with red velvet interior. That's like the movie, Elvis Presley back in the day, this big Cadillac. And she was like 25 and I was 22. And we were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, putting on makeup and lipstick and taking care of skin. And we were having so much fun. And it was the first time in my life where I realized I could get paid more money for working less hours because I was being rewarded for who I was and not what the job was worth. That was my first time where I was making more money working 4 or 5 hours a day, 4 or 5 hours a week, than working 50 hours a week as a copywriter at the advertising agency. I did both jobs for about 6 months. I won a free car, and then I won my pink Cadillac. I've won 17 free cars from Mary Kay, and most of them pink Cadillacs. Pink Cadillac is the epitome. So that's my favorite job because I still do it. I'm still a Mary Kay beauty consultant and director. And the thing is, because of COVID-19, my business, my income went to zero overnight from the marketing standpoint of producing events and PR. My Mary Kay business has carried me in the last 3 months because the beauty consultants that I trained 20, 25, 30 years ago, they're still out doing their business. They're and still changing lives.
And you get the royalty
income. Yeah.
Wonderful. And you've been the top sales director with Mary Kay.
That's right. That's what I was just saying. So when you join Mary Kay, you become what they call an independent beauty consultant. And anybody that's listening in the entire world, I would love to sponsor you as a Mary Kay beauty consultant. Today is the deadline actually for a program that Mary Kay, our headquarters are in Texas, and we have a program that ends today in about 10 hours at 10 p.m. in America. Mary Kay, it normally costs $100. They're allowing women to start their business for $30 and giving you a free website, a free ProPay account, which is like the shopping cart, everything. You could be in business for $30 and start making money using your brand and social media. That is a gift that Mary Kay has done only for COVID-19. It ends today. So that's my favorite. But I'm in the top 1/2 of 1% of the sales force as a top director. So that's something I'm very proud of.
Yeah, still you're at the top. That's a big thing. And as you know, Denise, the chat show and the talk show is about Madhvi's luxury code. I would like to know your definition of luxury. What's luxury according to you?
I'm so glad you asked me that. No one's ever asked me that. My definition of luxury is living a life with the simple pleasures. actually. And so everybody has a different version. Some people, I teach my kids, some people spend their money on cars. Some spend their money on designer clothes. Some people spend money in their home. Other people spend money on trips. And as we all probably know, millennials, it's a statistic that millennials are spending money on experiences. They don't care about all those, luxury type things. So to me, a luxurious lifestyle is the lifestyle where you have something to look forward to and something to love. And if you love Louis V clothes and Prada shoes and $1,000 St. John knit or whatever, great. I have all of that, and I want to share for those that are listening. I've had the private jets. I've had the $5 million houses. I've had the views of the ocean. I've traveled the world. I've had the jewelry and the luxurious yachts and the boat trips, and I've won trips around the world for my sales efforts. I gave all of that up when I got divorced. I walked away from all of that to save my child and my children, and it was the best decision I ever made. It was not easy. Getting a divorce is not easy, but it's not about the material things. I guess that's what I want to say. Sometimes when you think of luxury, and I've been offered the opportunity to promote, like I know you have beautiful artists and paintings, and I've sold multi-million-dollar assets of different styles. I have a client that had a motorcycle that was sold for $1 million. A motorcycle, a pair of boots. So my definition of luxury is a simpler version of that. I hope that helps.
Beautiful, lovely. I think it's very, very deep and profound. And it's been my honor and pleasure to host a show with a very sought-after television and radio show guest from USA. So it's been a real pleasure and honor. And I would like to, have some information from you about the negativity in the world right now, and would like to get uplifted by the Queen of Joy, Denise, right here with us.
Oh, wow. Well, that's amazing. Well, the negativity that's going on is on every channel, on every TV station. I can't even go there because there's so much death and destruction going on in America right now. There's police officers that are getting killed, and there's police officers killing people, and it's like the riots of the 60s that was before I was born. And it's literally they're burning down the buildings around my city right now, and where my daughter is right now in Oakland, and in LA where my children are. They're on curfew now, where you can't go outside because there's the National Guard. So it's an ugly situation. And then the COVID-19, we don't need to talk about what that is, the negative side of it. But looking at what can we do to make it different. And hi, Martha, one of my friends from church in Manhattan Beach is watching. What we can do right now is we can dig deep inside of ourselves, and we can reach out to other people and hold hands together, because this is the time where we pray to God, because even the American government and the American National Guard and the police officers they've been trained on the front lines. They cannot stop people from looting. They're looting. They're going into Starbucks and they're stealing all of the coffee. What does that have to do with civil rights? But they're going into the Target and looting and taking out everything, and nobody can stop them. The police can't stop them. It's gone from Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is where my father was born. God bless my grandfather, and it's gone all across America. What we're wanting to do is join forces with. We believe that this man was killed innocently, and we join forces with our sisters and brothers, our African American sisters and brothers. I'm heartbroken. I'm embarrassed, sometimes for what's going on. So looking at that, and then in the same day that's going on, we have billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, the richest man in the world, are putting rockets out into space here in the U.S. yesterday. So when I look at life goes on, the sadness in my heart of the people that are dying, and knowing that my father is locked up with thousands of other people around the world who can't hold their loved ones' hands when they're dying. And then the graves, we could just go on and on. So my advice is to, keep informed enough to know what's going on. I have to keep informed because it's what I do for a living, and I write and I tell the stories about that. But if we can read an uplifting book, I'm not near my bookshelf right now, but I have at least 5 books at a time that I'm reading. When I go to bed at night, I don't watch TV, I don't watch the news, I read before I go to bed, because whatever you read and think about before you go to bed is what your mind thinks about all night. It's the same with your skincare routine. When you do all your special products and you take care of your face, your body's relaxed, all the muscles are relaxed in your face, and you can prevent the wrinkles. It's the same thing in your mind. Prevent the wrinkles in your brain. And what I teach when I teach my coaching clients is you have to wash your brain and wash your body and wash your spirit. So the Dome brand, okay? The Dome brand is a gold dome, and all over the world, in India, Africa, China, America, the most famous buildings, churches, the government buildings have a dome, a gold dome. So Dome Consulting, our brand, is to help you to be your brilliant best, to shine it, polish your brain. So in a simple way, you have to put positive in your brain. You polish your brain inside. You polish your body on the outside, so you can make that first impression a good one. When you walk into the room, you want people to believe and look at you and go, I want to know who she is. She looks like she's somebody that I should meet. And so you polish and you take pride in your appearance on the outside, and then you polish your soul. So if I could say, in deepest, darkest times, I've never seen anything like it in America. When I wake up and I hear what's going on, I'm so grateful that yesterday, while the riots were going on, while the buildings were burning around me, 2 miles away, people were on the freeway breaking windows and killing people. I was working on my nonprofit. I was preparing the press releases and the PR for our call today. I was working with Nadabi. I was working with investors that are paying for donating masks for our team in Saving People Inc. because the families are dying without masks. I was making a difference, and that I didn't even eat yesterday because I was so busy changing the world. And if you can get to that point in your life where you don't care about food, you don't care about the car you drive, and you don't need to have all that, because seriously, if nothing else, we're learning in the quarantine, all we need is who we are. We don't even need lipstick right now. This is like the first time I've worn lipstick in once every 2 weeks, for the Zoom calls. I have a mask on. I'm always having a mask. I wish I had my mask. I have a beautiful mask for my friends on. I have a sequin mask, but it's in my car.
You look beautiful even without the mask also. It's like...
Well, we have to wear the mask when we go outside, So does that answer your question? I know that was a deep question.
No, it's been amazing and joyful, light conversation with you here, and also it's like a breaking news, and you made a global announcement about saving people.
You got the cover story. You're the first. This recording is the first official announcement. I wish Bhavna was with us, but Bhavna, you're here in spirit, and Sanjeev and Francine and Brian, our team that founded it. It's just another way of making it official that we're here to save lives and to save people and serve. And that, if nothing else, people here, go to Saving People Inc. because we're going to be changing the world, and we'd love to have you join us on our mission.
Right, beautiful. And last but not the least, I would like to, what is the message you would like to give to the audience today?
Well, my gosh, I think we've had like a long time to give the message. I would like to leave you with the Serenity Prayer. It's a prayer that I pray that it's a global prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is a prayer that I learned in Al-Anon. My children's father is a recovering alcoholic, and it's a passion of mine to educate people that they don't have to live in a difficult situation. If you pray the Serenity Prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. There's so much going on bad in the world. I just have to accept. I can't change everybody, but I can accept that, and I can have courage to look around my neighborhood and my community, and I can change certain things, and whatever I can change. And the courage to do that comes from my faith. And then the wisdom to know the difference. Because I have to be honest with you, I've spent a lot of years trying to change people, trying to change situations. And what I realized, and I even had a conversation with my mother last night, because my father is in a home where he's sitting in a poopy diaper, and there's nobody there to change him. And we can't go in and tell the nurses, and he's telling us on the phone, and the staff is overwhelmed. All the frontline workers are really overwhelmed. There's not enough nurses and doctors. And yet my father's there, and my mother is a nurse, and she wants nothing more than to be inside. She's a hospice nurse. This is what she was doing her whole life, and she can't do it for her own husband because he's locked up in a home. It's very hard. And I told my mother, I said, Mom, we cannot change that nurse, but we can change our attitude on how we're going to deal with it, and give my mom the courage.
Unlike of a country like USA, they value life so much, and it's quite unlike to hear something like this happening in the United States.
It's all over the world, but in America, we've had 100,000 people die, and 37% of them are elderly. And if one person in that home gets COVID-19, 30 or 40 people will die. It's a statistic. So we have to suck it up, and we have to be strong. And we have to write a sign and hang it, outside the door. We love you, and we can't go in. And we respect the rules. We respect the rules, but we're going to do what we can. It's so difficult to watch my parents, go through this. But I'm so grateful that I made the decision 33 years ago to be an entrepreneur and to run my own business and to make my own hours and to be my own boss. I can work anywhere in the world, and now I'm working around, in my neighborhood. I can still change the world with what I'm doing with the Zoom calls, and that's why we're on this call, because we want to call to action. We need more people to believe in something, whatever it is. Write your book, do your story, make a difference. It's I don't want to leave on a negative note, but I just want you to know that no matter what is going on.
Very inspiring, very motivational, your journey. You're such a strong person, and so many people are getting inspired, strong. And, any situation, any circumstances, you have to come out to be a very strong human being, ultimately, I feel. And prayers for your father, wishing him a speedy recovery, and prayers for the world that we get over the COVID and things get normal soon. I really hope and wish for a miracle to happen.
Yes, I'm wishing for a miracle, and expect a miracle. That's another one of my favorite things. And know that there's angels around you, and just when you're flat on your back, just like, oh my gosh, the only thing you can do, and this is my daughter, she was laying in the street, dead in the street, and I found her in the street after getting hit by a car. An 80-year-old man hit her on a bicycle, and she was laying in the street dead with blood everywhere. And I say this, that when you open your eyes, and there was a moment where her eyes were not open, and then they finally opened, and her spirit came back. And when you open your eyes and look up, what do you see? God. That's all. When you're flat on your back, you can see God. So if everybody can open their eyes and look up and remind ourselves that God is in this journey, we will have a better global connection. We're seeing the earth is healing. The birds and the bees and the oceans are healing because there's nobody driving in traffic. So as long as we keep looking for the lessons when we go back out into society, and we're going to be stronger and better, and our children and grandchildren will have a better life if we make good choices now. So the last thing I'm going to tell you is, I tell my kids whenever they leave, I always say, make good choices. Make good choices.
True. Very, very nice. Lovely talking to you, Dennis. Dennis has been so inspiring, so motivational, and a lovely message to the audience as well. Thank you so much for taking out your precious time and being with me here on Madhvi's Luxury Talk and making it a global forum. By your being here, it's gone to another level altogether. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. I'm so honored and privileged to be on your luxury show. It's been a blessing to be able to have 2 hours of chatting and talking, and I hope that the message inspired. And obviously that people are watching or on Facebook. I would love to also share this on my YouTube channel. You can just go to Denise360.com and contact me and let me know what you're going to do. What's your journey? What choice are you going to make in this challenging time that you're going to look back and tell your kids and your grandkids? I just keep telling everyone, this is a historical time. We will never have another time like this in our lives, and we're changing the world. So what are you going to do? Set your message and just go for it. And it's a reset. It's a reset for the community, for the nature, and for our brains. So just let it be a positive thing. Think of it as a positive.
I think something like this happens in once in 100 years is what I've heard, that something like this happens once in 100 years. And I think I'm going to be sharing it on my YouTube, Madhvi Advani. We're going to do a watch party as well. So as many people can reach out, please do reach out, send a message. It will be lovely to get the feedback. And thank you once again, Dennis. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dobby. Have a great night there where you are in Delhi. And all my love to you and your family.
Thank you. Stay safe, stay indoors, and let's hope for the world to get back again to normal.
That's right. We can do it. We can do it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye.